Hello, I'm Dr. Jessica Fush. This is Farmers Market Fido. If you're back, thank you so much for being here. If you're new, please hit subscribe and the bell for notifications when new videos come up. This is where you'll learn how to cook for your dog and all about dog nutrition. Today we're going to talk about the number one thing that you need to make sure your dog has if you're cooking for them, the biggest mistake that most people make when they make home-cooked diets for dogs. I'm pretty sure you know what it is. It's calcium. Dogs need way more than we do, and I think that's why you're here, is because you want to learn more about it. You're also going to learn about how to make sure they get it very easily, and I'm going to give you a recipe today. You're going to learn about other options for including it in their diet. You're going to learn what happens if they don't get enough and what happens if they get too much, as well as how much is enough and how much is too much. So what will happen if your dog doesn't get enough calcium? The worst thing is they can develop rickets. That means that their bones will basically become like Gumby and just too soft. They can also get fractures. They can get loose teeth. They can have contractility issues and tetany in their muscles. It can cause convulsions. All of this is very negative, and we do not want this to happen. This is especially important in puppies and growing dogs, and that's why this video is just about a healthy adult dog, okay? We're not going to discuss growing puppies or large breed dogs in this video. They require different calcium phosphorus balances. This is why I always question the whole AFCO for all life stages statement, because that's actually not really true. It's really not for every single dog, your regular dog food that you find on the shelves. And that's why I think that home cooking, if done in an educated, balanced way, can be so much better. Actually, it's definitely so much better. All right, and if they have too much calcium, which is incredibly rare because you'd have to get a lot of calcium added to the diet, they can develop nephrosis, which is issues with the kidneys, and they can come up with some lameness issues as well. Again, the calcium is very important for your muscles. So make sure that you don't put in tons and tons of this eggshell powder that I'm going to teach you how to make today. You want to make sure it's balanced for your dog, and I'm going to talk about that, and we're going to know exactly how much to give based on your dog's weight. Another thing that's really important to think about when you're getting calcium for your dog is the calcium and phosphorus ratio. So meats and organ meats especially are very high in phosphorus, and it's very important to keep a 1-to-1 to 2-to-1 calcium and phosphorus ratio. That means you want to have equal parts calcium and phosphorus, or twice as much calcium as phosphorus. Bones have phosphorus in them as well. So people who use bone meal powder have added phosphorus. If you feed raw bones, so you can use chicken wings and chicken necks and things like that for a good source of calcium as well, and those have phosphorus in them. So the balance is a little bit different. And for that reason, I like to make eggshell powder, eggshells. And that's what I'm going to teach you how to do today, because that is just going to provide the calcium. Yes, it does contain a little bit of other nutrients as well. It has zinc and magnesium and manganese and other micronutrients that are very helpful, and it will not cause any of those things to get into excess. There are some other options, and I've already mentioned a couple. You can feed your dog raw chicken bones and necks and gizzards, and there are some resources which I will link below in the show notes, and I will also put in some B-roll here, some pictures of tables, and I'll link the websites where you can see those and you can get the calcium, how much calcium is in each of these different things. But a lot of people will buy calcium carbonate powder, and this is human grade calcium carbonate powder for humans to consume, which would be fine for your dogs. And basically you want to see that there are no other ingredients, like none, okay? And this is very, very easy to see. There's 600 milligrams and a half of a teaspoon. Basic, okay, super easy. This is what's added to dog food, so it's fine. And then there's these sorts of things. Some people will use Tums. I don't like it because they're dyed and they're flavored. This, for example, would be very, very bad. Do not use this. This has chocolate in it and xylitol, which is incredibly toxic to your dog. So be very careful when considering human supplements for your dog, okay? This would be an absolute no-no. You must read the fine print. I said the same thing for dog food. You want to read the fine print. All right, now we get to the fun part. We're actually gonna make the recipe. These came from hard-boiled eggs that I peeled. And then I set them, I rinsed them out so there's no like egg. I guess you don't really have to do that with the hard-boiled eggs. That's if you're using raw eggs. And there's a couple different ways to do it. You want to grind them up or kind of like crunch them up in here in your coffee grinder, which of course is clean and does not contain coffee. I did have to wash this morning because I do use it for both. But you want to use the hard-boiled egg so that you don't have like raw egg in there, or you can put it on a cookie sheet and put it in the oven on 200 for, you know, like 10 minutes and it'll dry it out. I just leave my eggshells on the counter on paper towels and then they dry themselves out. So I'm gonna crunch them all up in here and then we're going to grind it up and it's going to look something like this. Yes, I'm gonna show you the fun. This one eggshell made about 1.5 teaspoons to 2 teaspoons, and each teaspoon of eggshell contains about 2,000 milligrams of calcium. This is the fun part. Okay, I think it's ground up finely enough. Ooh, eggshell smoke. Okay, perfect. That looks really good. And it's very dry. You have to make sure the eggshells are very dry so it doesn't stick to your coffee grinder and so that you can save it essentially forever. Just put it in a jar like this. And a funnel is very handy so you don't dump it everywhere. All right. Voila, now we have eggshell powder. So how much do you add? Some people talk about adding it to the big, bunch of dog food that you make for the week. I personally like to just add it based on the meal because each of my dogs is a little bit different and that's easier for me. So my 20-pound French Bulldog normally needs about 1 whole teaspoon, which is 2,000 milligrams a day. So a 10-pound dog needs 300 calories a day if they are spayed and just normally active. And that means that their minimum requirement is about 500 milligrams. But the maximum requirement is actually about 5 to 6 times that. So it's pretty hard to overdo it unless you're just piling it on, especially in bigger dogs. A lot of people overdo calories in little dogs and then they may actually be getting too much of everything, right? Even if you're using dog food. So just be cognizant. And there's a really good website called the dognutritionalliance.com that has a calorie calculator. So yes, a 10-pound dog only needs 300 calories a day. Just think about that. That's not very much at all. So I like to keep my eggshell powder in a jar like this and just feed it based on the meal. There's a couple other really good resources I'm gonna link below. There's on PubMed, there's a phosphorus pyramid, which is really interesting for you to look at for yourself as well. It has the different levels of how much phosphorus is in different kinds of foods. And then if you like this video, please click the like button because it'll tell me that you wanna hear more about dog nutrition, that you wanna learn more, and you wanna have more videos like this. So thank you for coming and thank you for staying to the end. Dr. Jessica Fush with Farmers Market Fido. I look forward to seeing you again.